Okay, welcome back, everyone. We have another week of Touchdown Friday, our playoff preview. I'm joined not by Nolan this week, but Brian Bailey's back in town and
Yes.
doing well. So what week are we in? What, week 17, 18?
Not
Touchdown
quite that
Friday?
many weeks, but we're done with
Feels
Touchdown
like it.
Friday, though.
Yeah,
Remember that.
yeah.
We got the playoffs still to come, but
Yes.
Touchdown Friday, we had a great run. We had a great all the new folks that we had in this year, but everybody worked really hard. And we had a good time with it.
I know, it flew by. But we're going to get started. We've got the North Carolina football regional finals this week. Pretty much all of our teams in our area, outside of a few of them, are all knocked out, unfortunately. But we're going to talk a little bit about ones that are the nearest to us.
Right.
So we're going to start by talking about the number 2 seed North Edgecombe versus number 4 Northampton County. Both teams I thought was really cool. This is a rematch between the two of them. They played in season back in October. North Edgecombe won 46-28. Both of them similar records, both 10-3. What do you think about it?
Well, North Edgecombe's had such a great football history. Raymond Cobb, the legendary coach there that moved on to Southwest Edgecombe after that, and he did such a great job through the years. And they've really come back from there. They had some down years, but they've bounced back, and they've got a really strong program there. They love their football at North Edgecombe. And as you said, most of our teams that are in our exact DMA, all of our teams in our DMA are out, but North Edgecombe is on a fringe, as is Tarboro, as is Edenton. So we talk about those teams. But North Edgecombe, I look for a very similar game with Northampton coming up this week, and I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a little closer, but I think North Edgecombe will take care of business and win.
Yeah, and they're coming in on a 9-game win streak, so I'd expect Northampton to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, but again, North Edgecombe's got great momentum heading into this game. So in our 1AA East, we've got number 1 seed Tarboro versus number 2 Edenton, which this is a matchup I know we talked about in the first week of playoffs. You said that they are going to come down the line, and you called it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people called it. I think a lot of people saw it coming. And in fact, they've talked about it all year long because Tarboro is the juggernaut. Tarboro is the power. Tarboro going for another state championship. The Vikings are just so good, so well coached with Jeff Craddock and company. And they're always a staple in the playoffs. And you talk about a town that loves their football, man. They eat, sleep, live, die by Tarboro football. And it's always nice to see the Vikings in the playoffs because they're always there. And Tarboro plays a pretty tough schedule to get there. But Edenton, I mean, they've rolled all year long as well. They've got a great ground attack. They throw it as well. And a lot of people think this is going to be maybe one of the best games. You know, this could be a state championship preview because the winner here will probably be favored to win the state championship. But Edenton is going to come in as an underdog, but I wouldn't go to sleep on them because they're a very good football team.
And this is a rematch between the two teams. They met the same time last year. Tarboro did win to move on to the state championship finals. But I'm excited to see how this went. I was at Tarboro last week, and their fans are fun. The team is fun. Jeff Craddock is great to talk to. But again, they were our number 1 on our top 9 for Touchdown Friday all season long. So we've got some big expectations for the Vikings. And then again, for Edenton, this is going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, it should be. You know, Touchdown Friday, top 9 all season long for Tarboro at number 1. Edenton kind of rose up through the ranks and stayed at number 2. I think they were at number 2 for probably the last 4 or 5 weeks for sure. But they had an undefeated season as well. And so we got a lot of wins on that field in Tarboro on Friday night.
A lot of wins. Actually, they are on a 43-game winning streak over 3 seasons. Which
we forget that winning streak is so crazy. Yeah, but that's right. So there's a lot of wins out there. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, the 2A East, we've got the number 1 seed Clinton versus number 3 Northeastern. And again, this is going to be an interesting matchup. The Dark Horses from Clinton only have 1 loss in September, but they were the ones who locked out locals West Craven last week with a 47-14 win.
And Clinton's another one of those towns that loves their football and really love playoff football. It's a tough place to play. Northeastern, you know, obviously all year they played some very tough teams in our area, and they've had their way with them. They had a little bit of a slump through the middle part of their season, but they played great football, and they want respect. You know, the thing about Northeastern is the fact that they're in the Norfolk market, and they don't get a lot of coverage up there, and they're so far away from us, we don't give them great coverage because they're so far away. But they are a great football program up there, and Northeastern, Elizabeth City, in this game. I mean, it's a tough place to go to travel to Clinton. That should be a good game, though.
Should be a good game. To note, they were the underdog going into last week's game. They played the number 2 seed at Southwest Edgecombe and
Yeah.
came out on top and beat
And that's a
them
tough place to play too.
35
Yeah.
to 20. Yeah, so that is going to be an interesting one. Moving along to AA East, we've got number 1 seeded Randleman, who's 13-0 coming in on the season, versus number 7 Salisbury. And I do think this is pretty interesting because Salisbury is the lowest seeded team we have left in the East at number 7. But they did knock off our local Washington Pan Pack back in week 2, I believe, second round of the playoffs,
Yep.
32-12. So it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah,
so
and
to speak.
anytime you get this time of the year, you kind of throw the seedings out. But
Yeah.
but you know that a team, even though as a 7 seed, they're playing great football right now, and they have played great football. So they'll look to pull off another upset this week.
Yes, I agree with that one. In the 3A East, we've got the number 1 seeded Southern Nash versus number 3 seeded Eastern Alamance. Both teams 14-0, perfect records. So this is, again, they're evenly matched. And you said throwing out the seeds, so then I'm going to look at the records.
Eastern Alamance came up with the win last week against Havelock, and that was a key win
Yes.
for them to go on the road and win that game. Southern Nash has got an incredible football team, and that should be an outstanding game because Eastern Alamance is going to make that long trip to Southern Nash, but Southern Nash wants to get that state title.
And I do think it's interesting because Southern Nash, their road in the playoffs, their second round, they played Northern Nash. So it was a conference matchup. And then last week they beat Terry Sanford. I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but the pairings, I'm confused kind of how you would almost think that you'd see the in-conference matchups. Later on.
It used to be that way. They used to bracket them where they would take a bracket. And if you were the number 3 seed from your conference, you would play a number 1 seed from another conference. And they separated the teams that way for a while. But then the coaches and some other people complained that sometimes a really good football conference would be penalized because their third place team would have to go play a number 1 somewhere.
Yeah.
And their third place team was really better, So you can't please everybody, but I think there's a better way to do it and not have teams from their own conference playing, especially in the first round.
I know, and it is interesting. I guess it gives them a bit of an advantage from already playing certain people in season. But yeah, I don't make the rules. Okay, so 3AA East, we've got number 1 seeded Lee County playing the number 2 seed New Hanover. I don't know too much about these teams. Lee County is coming in with a perfect record, 4-0, and New Hanover is 13-1.
New Hanover was always a staple in the playoffs down in Wilmington, and it used to be in the same conference with Rose, Conley, that kind of thing, with the Mid-Eastern 4A. So they're always there. Very good football program.
Yes, and then our 4A East Division, we've got number 4 Cardinal Gibbons versus number 6 Scotland. Again, Cardinal Gibbons coming in 11-2. Kind of seems like a bit of an underdog, but they've been on a roll recently.
And these two teams, a 4 and a 6, this late in the playoffs is a rarity.
Yeah.
But both of these teams are really, really good. We had a chance
are.
to see both of these teams.
Yes.
So we know just how good they are.
We do indeed. Okay, our last one, we've got the 4AA East. Number 1 Wake Forest is playing the number 2 seeded Leesville Road.
And everything went according to seed here, and a lot of folks at Leesville Road have been waiting for this matchup all season long. So we'll see how that one plays out.
Yeah, so we got a lot of ones and 2 seeds playing, but that will do it. We don't have a Touchdown Friday this week. Did you want to talk about what we were doing?
Yeah, we'll do our regular sportscast, but we'll highlight some of those games. We'll send crews to Tarboro for that game, to North Edgecombe, to Clinton for that game as well, and we're still trying to decide if we can get somebody to get to Southern Nash, because as we said, all these teams are our fringe areas, and we do what we can, try to get what we can, but we'll see about the 4th game. We hope we'll have at least 3 of those games. Eastern Final is always a big night, and usually we're preparing for the state finals, but we won't have a team in our DMA in the state finals, so we hope all these teams that are on our fringe will make it to the state championships.
All right, we've got pretty much 1 week left until the state, sort of. It's played on December 14th, the state championship finals.
That weekend.
But we've got regional championship this week, so stay tuned for more. We'll have full highlights Friday night.